Good morning, bright and early. We've got two global refrigeration remote condensing display freezers that from the time this place opened last November, every week they say, every week the unit freezes up and then they have to turn it off and manually defrost it, melt everything, and then it works fine for a week and that's it. So they've had enough of that frustration and they asked if I could swing by and take a look at it. So I'm assuming they unplugged it from behind since this is pulled forward a little bit. So let me get back there and see that, and then let's check just the basic function of it. Make sure the heaters, these heaters are mangled, but make sure the heaters all work, the drain line heater works, drain's not clogged, and then we'll fire it up and see if the refrigeration's low on gas or the controller doesn't instigate something. All right, so I just plugged it in. We won't be able to put it in a defrost because it'll refuse to go because of the box temp, right? So you've got defrost terminations, right? And a fan cycle somewhere in here. But I would guess that's your defrost termination. So once the coil is above a certain temperature, it won't allow a defrost. So we gotta let it run, let the coil temperatures drop. How in the world? That is funny. Is it supposed to be down like that? So that it, I don't believe it. Is it supposed to hang down in the pan like that so that it keeps it nice and hot here running into the... You can actually feel that the drain line heater is working already. No, that's not our problem. And if it wasn't going into a defrost at all, I don't think it would last a week. Well, maybe. The fans on this unit are ridiculous because they're computer fans and they're back behind. You can't get to anything. Love global, baby. Maybe we got fan issues. So many options. So I've opted to come to the roof now, since I have to wait for the coil to cool down anyway, just to make sure sight glass is clear. And it is. Sight glass is clear, nice. Coil's clean, we just did that. No, not a mechanical issue up here. So both the fans are operable. You can see our coils frosting up nice. There's not many nice things that I'll say about these global units, but they use a clear drain line, so that's nice. So it doesn't look like it's clogged up. This makes questions. So this has been unplugged for 2 days because it was frozen up and solid. There should have been water in here. And there's a little bit in the very front corner. But yeah, just what's in the trap. The trap will flow water, so interesting. So we're really getting this down to either bad defrost heater when we put it in a defrost, or a bad controller that won't put it in a defrost. Can't test either one until the coil temperature gets way down. While I'm here waiting on this unit, this is the cabinet that was totally iced up when I was here last week that I gotta come back with. But they've unplugged it overnight and defrosted it. So this gives me an opportunity to not have to fight with the ice. Plug it in and see if the fans are working. Check the defrost circuit. Alright, it's on a delay, as it always is. Really just want to see if those two fans start. Again, while I'm waiting for my cake freezer to pull down in temp, so that I can test that controller and defrost. We'll get a look at this one. Alright, compressor just fired up. I also believe on this unit there's a fan cycle delay. Yeah, so it doesn't show fans yet. It will when the coil temperature gets down. I'm gonna walk away from this for a second. Go back and check my old unit. I don't wanna leave this running too long because I want it to be off and cold, off and warm when they get here, so they have the opportunity to clean it whether they take it or not. But they've obviously drained it. But it's got plenty of debris inside. Alright, 14 degrees. Sorry, just scoping out where we're gonna tap in to check heaters. Right here. So yeah, so this is our defrost termination for sure, because my heater wires come out of the top, run into the red wire to over there, so we can pull amperage off right here. You like the piano music? It's coming from a television. Let's see if this tells us 8.5 amps, 115 volts. Kinda. What happened there? Oh, this is hard to see. How long ago I started using that backup meter? Right now she's unlocked. Now she's in a defrost. Yeah, 4.5 amps. So the fun begins. Yeah, and hear it snap, crackle, popping. Right, and I have a drain line here. This is energized all the time, not just when. So mechanically, all is well. Okay, now this one, it's definitely got some, oh, that's fun. Definitely going to have some defrost issues on this one. If your drain line heater is not hooked up, which, like I said, is frozen. Okay, so again, our drain line heater is definitely unplugged. I actually don't like that. So the answer to our question is that this is supposed to be down in the tray. And this is just burn marks from that heater. Squirrel, I just remembered we were waiting on this. 49. And so do you see our fan light is on now? So that fan should be spinning, it's not. That fan should be spinning, it's not. So there's why you're freezing up. You got no fans. Turn this back off for that. Okay, I would have expected, with no drain line heater, we need to get this set back up on here, that this would be holding, this would have had ice in it. Now this is going to keep it from holding lots of ice. The drain line heater back in place. Let's see if I can't bite this one side here. There we go. Now let's see. We'll be able to tell pretty quick actually, because that ice will start clearing out. .07, .08. I'm telling you, look at it. It's starting to cut through. So, drain line heater unplugged. That's great. You got a ground wire not connected. So you can have a defrost termination go bad, which doesn't allow. I don't have that fear over there at all, because not only, I mean, it went into a defrost even while it was a little bit warm. I don't love that either. You may be having issues with it going into a defrost at all. About to find out. I don't really want to put pressure on that wire, but hold this down. It's gonna unlock. We hold it down again. Click into our defrost. Yeah, 4.5 amps. So let's close this. Let's let it run a defrost. Let's watch it and see when it comes out of its defrost what she's looking like. If it drains during the defrost, all that stuff. Okay, behind curtain number 2. Completely bone dry drain pan. Look at this little plastic thing. You feel the heat coming off of here. Let that get in there. Yeah, this thing hasn't made any moisture in a hot minute. Alright, so we're starting to get some evidence of defrost. I know this is not exciting, but part of what you know is a lot of what we do is not exciting. Alright, let me stop monkeying with it. The amount of time this thing's been in a defrost, we should be pumping water out of this thing, and we're not. And if you look in, we're still pretty dang frozen. So defrost heaters are on, man. They are blazing hot. And if it's gonna go on these temperatures, then, I mean, I don't know how long this thing's gonna defrost. This was the idea, I wanted to see it. Wait a minute. Wait. The unit's running. That's why it's not making water. The controller's not dropping out the compressor. The controller is not dropping out the compressor. It's in a defrost and freezing at the same time. Sometimes you miss the simple stuff. Let's prove the point. Okay, so also look at this. This means it's ended its defrost and it's in the cool down period, which is like it's gonna let everything drip. So my defrost termination or my timer, right? I feel like that's gonna be the defrost. So yeah, it just completely ran a defrost. It's coming out of its defrost. And this is what it left me with because the dang condenser is running the whole time. I'm gonna shut this down. See if I can do this without. Probably just reboot it from the back. Yeah, I'm gonna power cycle it so I can put it back in a defrost. Oh. Really, at this point, it's a controller issue. It's a controller settings issue, or it's a controller issue itself. I reached out to my contact at Global. Yeah, see, so the box is 50. So based on this box temperature, it's terminating the defrost. I gotta cheat the system one time. We gotta get it to think the box is way lower so it can go back in a defrost. Right, we can't leave it running that way. Obviously, we're gonna be sensing coil temperature instead of box temperature, but there's no heaters high. Yeah, that's it. Now we'll see if it'll let me play. Into a defrost, but again, it stayed compressor active. You can hear it. All right, let me give it its pan so that if it actually we didn't go off on defrost termination because that defrost terminator is still frozen in there. We went off on box temp. I've done a factory set on this side and I didn't notice. So let's see if I put this in a defrost, if the compressor stays on or drops out. Because I haven't. Nope. Oh, it's still the same. Oh, nice. It's shutting it down. Let me do a factory reset on the other one. See if it does the same thing. Now is it flashing to, nope, look, it's back on. How crazy is that? So it only went on that because I accidentally hit the set button. In a defrost, it still runs the compressors. All right, monkeying around with stuff online, I think I found it. I bet this is set for a hot gas defrost. Okay, let's see what's set. All right, so we got to go to -19. That gets us into the, I don't think we need the light. Okay, so that's set point. We're gonna go to D0. D0 is an hour interval, so how many defrosts a day? Okay, so every 12 hours, so this thing was literally defrosting twice a day. No. And then D1 is, yep, 0, look at this chart. So 1 is a hot gas defrost. So now, when she's in a defrost, she'll just be in a defrost. The factory settings, I did a factory reset on both of these, and they were set not the right way. So this will do it. 6 defrosts a day. And turning off the compressor solved the problem, for sure. Now, many of you could absolutely correctly say, if I would have really investigated and explored the controller first to make sure it was set properly, I could have bypassed a lot of work. That's true. But you need to check all those things anyway. And I, statistically, have had very little trouble with my controllers and had lots of trouble with my drain lines and my defrost heaters and the like. So I went to the probable starting points, checked it out mechanically, and then finally got to controller issues. But anyway, thanks for coming along for the ride.